Hello, hello.
Whoa.
That's right. Welcome to Old Great Bricks. It's good to have you here. Thank you for joining us on our Thursday Night Live. We're going to talk about being a jerk, which is pretty awesome. I'm sure all of us.
Whoa! I wasn't prefaced that this was going to be an intervention.
That's what I'm here for.
Yes, I believe in the communications. You're like, I'm not sure I qualify to be on this show. And shout out to our friend Meredith, who was going to be on the show. She came up with a great idea for us to talk about it, which we will talk about it, but her daughter is not feeling well, so she's not going to be able to make it. We already have Grumpy Jay here, who is grumpy all the time. Gabriel's here. Stever is here. Morgan is here. Iceberg is here. What up, dude?
Oh, Mel, I know him.
I know him. He's been in my house. Anyway, Aubrey's here, and also hello, Morgan. All right, so glad to have y'all here. Let's do a quick spin around the room. And what's that? Hang on. We have something to tell you. Intervention. That's awesome. Hope everybody is doing well. Let's start with Aubrey. Well, tell us what is up in your Lego world.
In my Lego world.
Or any world, I don't care.
Well, we just finished our tattoo convention this weekend.
Yes, how did that go?
It was so fun. Sorry, this is next to me. I have to move back.
It's fine.
This is the logo for our shop.
Oh, very cool.
Wow.
So I built that for it.
That is cool.
It was really fun. I'm gonna sit back down now. So yeah, we took the mini scale or minifig version of our shop, and I took that, got to talk Lego with a lot of people and tattoos with a lot of people. It was super fun.
How well
now I'm recovering.
How well received was the Lego nerddom in that realm?
Oh, really well. I mean, tattoo people are just a bunch of nerds too. So we took it to the last convention that we went to in 2020 as well. We took a few Lego things and people loved it. So I got to tell a lot of people about Brick Slopes, which is the next venture that I'm working on. I'll be at Chicago, so it's not the next convention that I'm going to, but I kind of help run a little bit of Brick Slopes. So
awesome. When is Brick Slopes? What's the dates?
It is August 24th through the 27th. And that's in Utah. So
all right, good deal. Tell them where they can go and register for it and all the things.
It is bricks.brickslopes.com.
All right, good deal. Aubrey wants to know from Light Aubrey wants to know from Dark Aubrey. Did anyone get a Lego tattoo at the con?
Not this time, but he has done a lot of Lego tattoos before. Just not at this convention. He did quite a few Star Wars tattoos, a lot of Simpsons. Trying to think what else. Those are probably the most.
So do people just walk up and be like, "Hey, right here"?
Yeah. So at convention, typically what you have is he has a book, a portfolio of things that he has done, so people can see his work, and then he'll have line drawings that people can choose from and say, "I want this and I want it here." So that's pretty much what we did all weekend, and it was crazy.
That's awesome. All right.
Yeah, that's super fun.
All right, cool deal. Let's go, Dom. What is Dom? Oh, Mary. What is up, man?
Nothing much. Well, I was recently, Mel and I were recently brought back on the Talk Masters podcast because we talked about the holiday special that we did last year, so that was fun. But other than that, in terms of Lego stuff, a lot of sorting. I've been going through. I'm trying to grab it. This is one of 3 totes of a Lego collection that I got off Marketplace of late 90s, early 2000s stuff. So there's some really cool Western sets in there, and I think there's Rock Raiders and some old Star Wars sets that I'm trying to refurbish. And then I got some Speed Champions that I haven't built them yet, but I got them. And that's about it when it comes to Lego stuff. Oh, I'm going to Legoland next week. So that's cool.
Which Legoland?
Legoland, New York.
Cool. Going to hang out with
I'm
Joey?
jealous. I love
Yes, sir.
Legoland.
I'm gonna hang out with Master Model Joey. I'm gonna see myself in Legoland, so that's exciting. And I'll be seeing like Nick and Stacy with the. It's for the Lego Masters event that they're doing, the Junior Master Builder Lego Master thing that they're doing, and I guess I'm just going.
Okay, but ask Joey to meet his boss.
Yes, I want to
Our
meet
good friend Ryan, who
Ryan.
we've known Ryan for a very long time, and he's a super swell guy, and it would just be cool to meet him.
Gee, he's swell.
He's more neato than swell.
He's-
I will ask him.
Neato.
I'll
Very
ask him how come he gives Joey so much time to go off to do his conventions, because Joey goes to a lot of conventions.
Oh man, I love Legoland so much. I'm jealous.
I haven't been to a Legoland since the one I went to the one in Florida like 10 years ago. So
Oh man, New York just barely opened, right?
yeah, they opened up like last year, but they're still finishing the park and adding more stuff to it. So I'm really excited to see what they have going on there.
That's exciting.
You know, I can say I have never been to a Legoland amusement park.
Really?
I
They're
I haven't-
very kid oriented.
Yeah, they are, but it's
Little kids.
that means very little to me.
yeah,
Oh,
they're
okay.
very fun, and you can appreciate like all the builds and yeah.
Here's Ryan and his dog.
I ride on my dog.
His dog is a beagle named Bagel.
I was going to say it's a beagle named Bagel.
And that's
That's amazing.
That's
I
awesome.
love that.
Ryan's dog.
Aubrey wants to know about the scary Grogu creation.
Oh yeah. So you guys know me. I am Lego Master, and I choose my abilities to build horrible things, such as I took the one Avatar set Rex suit, the sand green one, and I put the legs and arms on Grogu's head, and I made a video about it and did pretty well. It's not my best creation, but I have since made things at peace. I've repaired the Grogu. I've repaired the set. It is no longer assembled as such, so everything is okay. But I need to build more mocks that aren't that.
You know what? We're going to be snobs about the fact that you don't build mocks. That's
I know.
Gatekeeping.
Joey,
We can
Joey,
gift for that, by the way. I'm just saying.
every time I talk to Joey, he drills me about not building enough mocks, and it's yeah, lay it on me.
No. This is about being supportive and open and positive, and shaming you into mocking is just not
There
something
it is.
we're going to do
Oh,
right this minute. Maybe in another 50 minutes we'll start shaming you, but right now we're in a safe place.
shaming and snobbery. We're going to say those are different things. Okay, good. I hear that. I'm good. Jeff Van Winden, what's up, man? I got to zoom in. Here's the button.
I'm muted. I don't know why.
Oh.
Or I was muted. I'd say not much, but
You'd be
after
lying.
yeah, I talked about a bunch of stuff that happened earlier this week, but
But we weren't
after
listening then.
well, that's too bad. Should listen better. After my chat on last night at 11 o'clock at night, I decided to put my butt into gear and start rearranging the castle. So I put some pictures on Instagram, and I hope this cord is not going to reach. Hold on, I got to stand up here.
No, you just wanted to flex the minifigs right there. I saw
I
that.
was gonna say like that's a nice minifig.
Yes. Sorry, my cable is okay. There we go.
Sorry. Well, hey, where's one? Let's go ahead and start counting the sorries. There was one.
Sorry.
All right, here we go.
Yeah. So basically, yesterday I removed 2 tables. You can't really see much from here. I removed 2 tables. I'm starting to move the castle over so that I basically will have 2 feet. 2 feet available for another couple of tables right about here. So I can basically just start working on my expansion for the castle because my space is not big enough my 40-foot wide long room is not big enough for an 8-foot section of castle with my desk where it is.
First
So-
world problems.
It's horrible. Yeah. It doesn't help that I have 2 big, metal pillars in the middle of my room. So, keeping my house up.
Well, if you were building more spaceships, you could whoosh them from place to place, not Just
I
have to-
could. I'd have to whoosh them around castles, like basically the outer ring of the room.
Hmm.
But
The outer rim.
yeah, yeah.
That wasn't a butt joke, by the way. Just
I wasn't sure where you were going. It was a Star Wars joke, I think, but I'm glad it was Star Wars versus butts. Let's just say that.
don't make me do this.
But Chris,
I don't know what it means. All right, let's go to Matt. Matt, what's going on?
I gave out Lego at a work event for students, so that was kind of fun. The sorting by color phase, everything is sorted by color, so now we have to sort it into the color by shape. I placed which I hope is the last 2 orders for the giant mosaic today or yesterday. But as Dana and I have chatted, inevitably they will not be the last 2 orders because I will have miscounted at least something. But in theory, I have all of the parts needed to finish the giant mosaic on their way here at some point. Until I discover that I miscounted something.
which will happen.
Which is inevitable.
Yes.
But we're okay. We're okay. We know this is the way the process goes. And let's see. So I talked to the students. We had this student faculty mixer, and I was talking about my interest in Lego, and it's amazing how many students would come up afterwards and be like, what about this? What about this? So that was actually kind of fun. I got to talk about Lego as part of my job. And it's funny how when you let your nerd flag fly, other nerds will let the mask down. And another faculty member came over and she's like, I'm a Ghostbusters person. And she and her husband have like the full Ghostbusters outfits here. And apparently, like, he's really into it and is on like Ghostbuster chat boards and stuff and knows all these people. And I said, well, one of our locals here, Mr. Knoll, is a big into the Ghostbuster scene. But she said, I don't know everyone's names. I just put on the costume. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think sometimes in nerddom, a lot of us are introverts and we need an extroverted nerd to adopt us and then, bring it out. That's one of my favorite scenes in that movie. And then he shows up and he has the bunny slippers on. I love that part. Real Genius is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is Georgia Tech about 1989, 1990. That is what it was like, except for popcorn and lasers. It's pretty much what it was like. So,
can you pound never mind.
Do what?
Can you pound a 10-inch steel? No.
I don't. Dana is spicy. Dana is now on warning. We have to watch out for Dana.
I didn't
Spicy
finish
Dana.
the quote.
We did not ask for jalapeno Dana this evening.
or didn't we discuss that now that I'm no longer an ambassador, I have gone into dark Dana mode? So just
I believe that Chipotle Dana was requested.
I'd like to see spicy Dana.
Matthew, could you have said that any more boomer?
I'll try.
Chipotle Dana.
Could I say it any more Midwestern is really the question, I think.
You could probably put a little more Midwestern into that, I think.
I'm definitely not a boomer, but I am Midwestern, so I'm okay to own that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a TikTok a while back, though, that was all about how boomers can't pronounce Chipotle.
I think I've seen this TikTok. No, yeah, I
They
definitely
also
remember
add
seeing
the
TikTok.
at the beginning of everything too, do they not?
The Chipotle. That's what I say.
Yeah.
The internets.
The internets.
The internet.
Sorry.
I think I have a clip of Zoom in one of my vlogs being like, "Is this an internet?" I'm 100% certain that in one of my Chicago vlogs, you're just in the background and you're just like, "Is this an internet?"
Yes.
Highlight of the vlog.
I had to do the dad praise for you just for that. So, all right, Mr. Shanlin, what's up in your Lego world?
I have built some Earthbound things in the last week. I finished building the Sanctum. It's over there. I'm not going to bring it over here because you all know what that set looks like. But I also bought the Noodle Shop, which I've always thought was a really neat little set, and I finally bought it. But I customized it to make it 3 stories.
Look at you.
So I added the little, middle story here. Used the dark orange brick,
Nice.
and then bumped the top floor up. This is basically the top floor of the regular set up here, and added some little openy things on the back so you can see inside the little
Play features.
And,
Can we just change his screen name to Modular Mark for the rest of the?
Really, right?
so yeah, I did that because I thought it would make a nice little city block to put next to the sanctum, so I would have like a little display over there. And then I got some of the road plates, which I have here, and I realized I should have bought 2 packages of them. But you got the road plates, and when you put them next to a Mills, they line up pretty good if you put a plate under them. I'm not holding it straight, but like that. There we go. That looks nice. See,
That's very nice.
Ooh, ah.
so yeah, that's fun. I think the Noodle Shop is a really neat. The Creator 3-in-1 Noodle Shop, nice little set. I like the design of the storefronts, and I like the little noodle sign. I think that's really neat.
Your mom's a noodle sign.
I like the vending machine. It's got a doggy in there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool deal. That's one of the 3-in-1s, right?
Yes.
What were the other 2 models for the 3-in-1?
Well, I got the box here.
It's funny. I don't know them either. It's like I just build the main model and then except for the
one of them is another sort of little city block that's just not a corner. And then there's sort of this doesn't make sense to me because it looks like a bicycle repair shop, but it has a video game controller on the roof. I don't know what's happening there, but
maybe that's like a ride-on game, like an old school motorcycle sit-down game or something.
Maybe that's meant to be an arcade. My bad. But yeah, Noodle Shop.
Cool. Question: Has anyone used the new road plates for hangers yet? I've used it for a landing plate for thing, and I believe this gentleman here has done so. Are you muted?
He is muted.
You're muted, or you're not
Can
talking.
you call that a boomer moment?
No, it was called I'm multitasking and failing, which happens when you get to be 50. So get ready. Yeah,
I've been there for 2 years, buddy.
Yep. So yes, I have used hanger plates for or road plates for a hanger, and they're actually very, very useful. So speaking of road plate, not speaking of road plates, speaking of mosaic plates, as Matthew pointed out, we are in full-on mosaic fun. I received in a nice batch of mosaic plates today.
I'll be right over.
These actually came in 6 days from when I ordered them because now they are on best sellers, so which means they come out of Chicago instead of coming from Denmark, so they come real quick.
Nice.
And they also qualify to get a GWP.
Whoa.
So free shipping, GWP, 6 days. I'm all excited. So boom, boom, boom. So I'm working on mosaics, but I am now the guy in my lug that I always hated when I was ambassador because I want to go ask the guy who's in charge of lug bulk, when's our lug bulk showing up? Because I need
10%.
But I'm just going to give myself the same 1% back that I'm taking from myself. So it's moot. It's moot. It's a wash. It's a wash. I did get something cool in. I haven't shared this yet, and I need to, but I don't want to screw up my my Instagram algorithm. But there was a guy that Danish Space Program had posted about and from the UK, and he made these cool stamps.
Oh.
So these are, I believe they're either linoleum cuts, and he's done prints of them. So I ordered a red and a blue. He actually sent me 2 blues and a red. And they also
Did he do a stinking dang it? No, okay, never mind.
No, I didn't have him swap the colors, but that would be cool. That would be cool. But he also sent me a nice little Ghostbuster one, and I believe his logo is an octopi. So very cool little prints. Very cool little prints. Original prints. I mean, they're one of a kind. They're stamped, so nobody else has these ones because they're specific because off the woodcut. So that was kind of cool. I did get a couple more Space Babies this week.
Space Babies.
Space Babies.
You got 4 extra Space Babies on hand?
Dude, they're in the trunk, man. They're in the trunk. I will see you in like 3 weeks. Just relax.
Hey, are you going to bring your Space Baby display to our meeting?
I can.
I would love for you to.
I will. Because then I did finish this little guy that I posted yesterday, which was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Actually, you know what? I think that what Dana should do is his contribution to the Lug Challenge should be a Space Baby little display for that meets those measurements.
I can do that. I can do
Space Baby.
I can do that. But I wanted to show you something about this because I was really happy with the way I used the little ball joint for the wheels. But I had to get creative here because I needed this to be studs up or studs down, but I needed this to be able to attach. So everything just is connected with these 3 lightsaber handles. And it worked. And I was very happy with that.
Cool.
That is really cool.
That was, I when I figured it out how I was going to do it, I was like, not too bad, Dana. Not too bad. I like it. Move on. So now I'm working. I'm waiting on a windshield, and the Starfleet Voyager will be the next build that I actually have because I've already designed it. I'm just waiting on a windscreen that should be here tomorrow. I hope. So hopefully that'll get built and shown sometime this weekend. And then I had something else that was this 4+ set has been sitting at my Walmart in their clearance section, marked at $35, which I don't even understand how it was marked down and sitting there at $35. And it was sitting on that shelf for like 4 or 5 months. I don't know why. And they finally marked it down to $10 yesterday, and I finally took it home with me.
Hooray!
I got my clearance. And then Aubrey will appreciate this. I was at my Kroger today, and they had 2 Disney princess sets that were originally $55 marked down to $27, and so those came home too, but they're downstairs and I forgot to bring them upstairs because I have this feeling, and I saw them and I was like, do I need these? I don't need these. But then I looked at the parts in there and I'm like, these are some uncommon parts that are not going to be produced in other sets, and I bet you that somewhere down the road I'm going to want these parts, so I might as well go ahead and buy them now. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I know something's going to happen because time and time again, I'll go looking through and I'm like, oh, what parts did this set, what set did these parts come in? Oh, some Disney princess set from 3 years ago that there's no way I can find, and these parts are ridiculous. So
rationalization.
I know. I don't know what I'm going to use them for today, but I got them because I'll need them eventually. So time will tell.
What parts? I'm curious. What parts are somewhat unique to the set? I mean, I don't know.
They're their crystal dresses.
Oh yeah, the one with like Tiana and Merida.
Yeah. It's 3 princesses and an armband and little boxes, and they have these little crystal things. And I'm like, transparent.
You can put them like in their dresses. I might have one.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, those are kind of neat, and I can see doing something with them eventually. I just haven't figured out what yet.
I have the set because I also got it on clearance. For
I found it at the grocery store too. Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah. So these dresses, like they come with tops, like Tiana's, you can see it has this top.
Yeah.
And they go to the bottom, so you can like click them together as like a whole gem. Oh, there's a picture of it right there.
There it
That's
is.
cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I ordered a couple of those off Bricks and Pieces just because I thought they looked interesting.
Well, I think this set was like originally $70. Actually, it was very expensive.
Oh wow, yeah. So okay, then even better that I got it for the price I got it for. So yeah.
Question: do the princesses actually fit inside those jewels, though?
I think
I know
they-
that sounds
the
weird,
studs-
but it
well,
looks like
I
they
think the
would.
studs fit into the bodies from the bottom of the crystals.
Yeah, so they could technically fit in or be inside the jewel.
Something.
That's what I'm thinking.
No,
But
that
anyway,
sounds. I think you're never supposed to ask the lady if she'll fit into a crystal.
yeah, this is probably true.
Very inquisitive.
There's a Cinderella reference there somewhere. I don't know.
I just want to point out that all the spacers that are usually in this room are building town, Disney princess sets, castles. I don't know you people. I don't know who you are.
What are you guys doing? Like,
I
what
built
are you?
space.
That's a really great segue on how to not be a Lego snob.
There we go. That was so snobby right there, wasn't that?
Where's our segue video? Where's the segue video?
Oh darn! I didn't have segue ready to go. Let's see. There's too many Canadian. There it is. There's a segue gift right there. There we go.
Oh my god,
Oh, man.
that's awesome.
All right. So, our friend Meredith has had a great idea. I believe she ran across a conversation that had her thinking about this, talking about this. There was a discussion on a group of important Lego people, whether your lug should just be geared for Lego mock builders and not for just collectors, which is pretty lame, but it was an interesting debate, I'm sure, because if you think about it, a lot of lugs are geared for train shows, and lug bulk is for us to build mocks and stuff like that with. So I can kind of see some of that point, maybe, but is there a high level of snobbishness? And I'll go ahead and admit that I have been that way. So don't get me wrong. Because I mean, I've always been a mock builder and everything. But so what do you guys think? Is there a big rift, and is it something that is a big problem in the Lego community between mock builders and collectors?
Oh, I think there's a huge divide.
Agreed.
I mean, and not just that it's a huge divide, but it's like self-feeding divide. Because and it's not just on the mocker side. Is that a word? Can I use that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So it's not just on the mocker side being the gatekeepers, which there are some, and we can talk about some horror stories. But at the same time, a lot of set builders are just very like, don't talk to me about mocking because I don't want to mock. I'm afraid of it. It's a dark art. I just like to build my sets at home by myself and I enjoy it and I'm happy. So they kind of almost feed the whole thing of, well, you're not building mocks. You're not the same kind of Lego fan that I am. And they're almost putting up the wall themselves kind of thing. I think
that kind of comes from a place of fear, maybe, though. I don't know if fear is the right word, but totally. Like Shai just said, on the mock side, it kind of comes from an elitist standpoint, right? And the like set builder and collectors are more like nervous and scared of like being judged on what they put out or like not being able to build something. So,
but I think that's a symptom of their own issues and not necessarily just because of Lego.
Right.
Yeah. Because more than likely, these are self-esteem issues that happened when they were like 5 and they carried over into their adulthood. And
for sure.
I mean, step builders are just mockers who haven't learned that they can mock yet.
Right. I think that's the hard thing is you can't really, in my opinion, I don't think that you can keep collectors and set builders out of your lug or conventions or anything like that because you'd never know what someone's potential is, right? Like we have to start somewhere.
And that's exactly where I think that the elitist mock builders forget is that at one point in time they were not at the level that they are today or at the level that they will be eventually, because we're always growing as builders and we're always doing stuff. And that, I mean, I'm going to segue, like I'm going way ahead and we'll come back. There is no bigger compliment that I get than somebody who tells me you inspired me to build something. That Absolutely. Is by far I don't care whether I come home with a bricky or whatever, but if somebody tells me you inspired me to build something, that's it. I'm done. Phone it in. I'm out of here, because that's what for me Lego is about, is getting other people to want to build. So, but that's jumping ahead of the game. The unfortunate part is that there are so many Lego fans who are not like that, who do not encourage others. They're in a competition. They're in a, this is my area, that's your area, don't cross the streams kind of thing. And that's unfortunate. And I hate that.
These are great comments that are going on here.
Yeah.
Different levels there. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that everybody pretty much starts off as a set builder.
That's correct.
Right? Unless you got a creator set. Like, unless you start as a creator set and you're still building the sets that are in the instructions, but there is a little bit more freedom there, right?
Well, unless you're 50 something and all you got was a box of bricks that had a picture on the front that may or may not have been a house or something that looked like a duck, and you tried to build it off of the picture. But yes, you are right. We all start off with sets, because that's what Lego.
Or like, the instructions were just like 2 pictures, and you're like, I think this is what this is supposed to be. So like, it's kind of a mock anyway, right?
Exactly. But you know what though? That's a soapbox that I could get on and talk about forever, is the alt builds on the back of the boxes, because those things made me problem solve before I even knew what problem solving was. Seeing a picture and trying to figure out how can I replicate that without instructions. And now today you can get a set of instructions that here's one brick that you got to put on something, and oh, look, we're turning the page. So it's weird, but that's a whole different ball of wax.
Yeah. In fact, the first Lego set I had was Lego set 400, the Universal Builder. And those instructions were so difficult when I was a kid. But it was basically just a box of possibilities to build on. So that's how I started out. And maybe could it be that the fact that when we were kids, you get the set, you're like, I can make that better. And so you did. Now we're getting levels of sets, and I'm not saying good or bad, but like that Saturn V over there, I am not touching that thing and rebuilding it into something else, because it was an amazing experience learning technique while I did it. And it's an amazing set. So I'm not going to tear it apart. So do you think that may be affecting who's a mock builder and who's not?
I can say something on this, because as a kid, that's kind of how I looked at things. Like growing up, I mainly was getting sets from like 2007 to like up to like 2013 was when I first got into Lego. And I would constantly, almost every set I got, I would somehow like modify it to make it more appealing to my taste and more play features and all that jazz. Nowadays, not so much. I feel like a lot of sets, there's not too much there's always room for improvement, but Lego has been doing really good with making Star Wars sets like there's not much you can do else to it. Like you can, but they're doing a pretty good job where there's not a need to, or like less of a need to, if that makes sense.
It does. So is there something being lost in that though, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like I've been reviewing a lot of the older Star Wars sets in my collection, and on the back of the boxes, there's always alternate models. And what Dana said, I love those alternate models. Like they inspire so much creativity and so much imagination that you don't see today. Like almost every set back at like 20 years ago had alternate models in the back, because the point of Lego, I feel like it wasn't the exact point, but it was more encouraged by Lego to take apart your set, rebuild into something else, create something new, where the only sets that really do that is Creator 3-in-1, which it makes sense. I get it, but like what's stopping me from like turning this BD1 into like a bear or something, or like
Something else egregious.
Something else.
I mean, I would say for myself, I both collect and build mocks, and with the UCS Star Wars ships, I just build them with the instructions, and I'm collecting large scale ships, and I don't feel the need to change it. In fact, I try to keep all the parts together. As I carry it around the house and move it from room and things fall off, I get upset because, I'm OCD about it. And then all the loose brick that I have, then that's fair game. It can become anything I want it to. But I guess I have like a split personality here. when it comes to like collecting things, I really want them to remain in the original designed state. But everything else, if I part out a set, then that's fine. It's gone. It goes into the Flotsam Jetsam of the collection.
Yeah. All right. This is a great comment. And hello, by the way.
Hey,
I didn't want to say I mocked until I felt it was good enough, and I was scared to call myself that. So is that one of the big humps from jumping into mocking? Is the fear of negative review or feedback kind of thing? Is that a thing?
I would say yes, and I would even say that I think that social media makes it worse.
Okay.
Because I mean, say for instance, I'm building something here at home, and it's a horrible accident that happens, and I share it with my close friends. More than likely, they're going to keep it to themselves, and the whole world doesn't know about some horrible thing I've built. But if I post it on social media, now I am at the risk of having everybody and their brother who thinks they're an armchair Lego master tell me what I've done wrong. And that's got to be just scary as all get out.
Are you referring? I don't know what you're referring to.
I know you don't. You have some timers at this point.
But I think that is definitely something that's hard, though, is putting it out there because anybody can comment on it, right? But when you create like an amazing community like this one, or there's so many, between YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, there's a ton of awesome, really supportive communities. So I think that social media has both. Like, it can be very inspirational and get people into like feeling like they can do it. And then also there are definitely those people who will tear you down.
And I think that's kind of what Emily was referring to, is that you got to find where you're feeling safe to show your stuff before you just throw it out there, because you don't know. So you do have to go seeking a safe place,
right?
A safe group of people to share your stuff with, or get opinions from people first, or somebody who you're hoping you tag and they're going to come back, and because you've been following them and you hope they're going to give you some encouragement, which I always do. And I encourage others to do the same, because sometimes it's all people need is just that little nudge of saying, yeah, that's good. Keep going. I mean, keep going.
I would say this is where the in-person lug meetings, I think, really make a difference. I mean, the first time I built a mock, I built a very square, very flat version of Queen Hatshepsut's temple. And I took it to an in-person meeting, and people said nice things. And, I look at it now and I see lots of things I would do different. But, and I think it's just easier to be mean online. I mean, maybe somebody would say something mean in person, but generally, at least in our meetings, there's that good old Midwestern, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
So, and I think the stuff that people brought to our meetings, a lot of times you can almost see that newbies are, or at least newbie mockers are like almost afraid to show it to us. And then it's inevitably got some nice attribute that you can say, hey, I like what you did here. And getting that face-to-face feedback, I mean, I think helps water that seed and grow that creativity. But I can definitely see, I'm thankful that I didn't do my first mocks in the era of Instagram. I was mocking pre-Instagram. So, maybe if I'd gotten some really harsh feedback, I would have felt burned, but that's not what happened in my era. So.
Okay, there's two different comments going on that I want to talk about.
Sure, go ahead.
Stever's comment about there's nothing wrong, with collecting, and Aubrey agreed, and that's absolutely true. And that is one of the things that I always try to encourage people to come to lug meetings, and trying to tell them, hey, you don't have to be a mock builder to come and join a lug. I mean,
right.
I know that not every lug is the same, but that is something that we've always been very supportive here, because you love the brick, you love the builds, and we bring builds to our meetings that are official sets. Just because I have it doesn't mean you have it, and because you have it doesn't mean I have it. Sometimes realistically, Chris brought in the Saturn V, and I was like, as if I didn't already want this. Now I really, really need to have it because I got to play with it, and he brought it to a lug meeting. And I'm a collector. I mean, I started out as a collector even though I have, creative outlets that I have to fulfill, or otherwise I'll drive my wife crazy. But I'm a collector first and foremost to begin with. Comic books, baseball cards, football cards, Lego sets, action figures. I'm a collector. That's my inherent go-to, because I got to have them all, whatever what it's going to be. So no, there's nothing wrong with just only being a collector. And I have several friends who are strictly only just collectors, and I get into some of the best Lego conversations with them because they are passionate about the Lego lore versus building something different or whatever. They are all about the Lego lore, and it's awesome. It's fun. So it's not like there's anything wrong with just collecting and buying sets. Look at the Funko. Look at the pop community. That's all they do.
Yeah.
They're awesome. So
I mean, and the thing is, if you are into Lego because it is your, healing device, something that you're using to get out of the stress of whatever's going on in your life and everything, it would be the most cruel thing for me to go, you're not doing it right. I mean, that would be because you are doing what you can do and everything. And so that's fabulous. So but what are some things we talked about it? How can we not be so compartmentalized and be mean? Or sometimes we are not trying to be mean and we are perceived that way in our snobbery in our own little worlds. What are some things we can do to avoid that? I mean, how can we not appear gatekeepy snobbery when you've been doing Lego for 40 years? You know what I'm saying?
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
No, I'm actually trying to think of how the best way to just sum it up into one sentence, and I don't think I can. I think the foremost thing is you got to check your ego at the door, because that's what usually winds up happening, is that people get way too full of themselves and they feel like they're all this and a bag of chips. And it's like, hey, you still put your pants on same way I do. You may take them off differently than I do, but it means that's a whole different part. The other thing is that I think, and this is unfortunate because I may be stereotyping something here that's not intentional. There are a lot of Lego fans or mockers who don't have children. And so they don't have that temperament of dealing with somebody who's new to something, who hasn't experienced something. And so they're not thinking about those types of things, I think.
Spoken by like someone who doesn't have children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of checking your ego at the door, if you've ever seen Lego Masters Australia, season 1, where a certain contestant was very, very high on himself.
Man. I back for Grandmasters.
I don't like him. I met him and I don't like him.
I thought you were going to take a jab at me. I was like, here it comes.
Speaking of Lego,
we still have 15 minutes, Dom. Just wait.
Kale is like on a whole nother standard deviation, several standard deviations.
Yeah. You don't hold a can. You couldn't even hold a can.
I do not. I can't.
Matt, did you know he's back for Grandmasters?
I did not, but one time he came on Sortlug late at night, and it took me a minute before I realized, like, oh, this is the guy who thinks he's the best at everything, because it only took 5 minutes.
Well, I want to point out that like they were saying, you can't control people's perceptions, but when they announced Grandmasters, like every comment for the first hour was like, why is he back? Why is he here? He's not nice. I was like, ooh, you must be doing something wrong if everyone was like, nope, not this. But I also wanted to say the first time that I met Dana was at Chicago last year. And we had a really, really great conversation. One of the late nights that you can hang out at a convention, which they're amazing. But, and this is when Dana became one of my favorite people, is he came to Chicago. We were talking and he was like, I wasn't really sure what to expect coming to a large convention like this, where there's a bunch of influencers and Lego masters and you never know how people are going to be. But then you get here and everybody is just human and we're all hanging out and doing what we love. And it's just maybe in different ways. And it's so great. And I was like, you know what, Dana? You're a good one.
Aw. Thanks.
Hang on. There, I was going to hit it. I was headed for the button.
It's perfect.
That's awesome.
Thank you all.
No, but that is very cool. You know what? And I said it to our lug, or I was going to. You know what? We all got in it to the adult fan of Lego probably because somebody did connect with us and befriended us and complimented us or encouraged us. Even, you know, we've even talked about there's a part of it where to get better. Look, Simon Lou's here. Oh, did you click that? Go ahead.
Simon.
Wait. Where is it? Dang it.
Wait, his internet's working?
Yeah, it is. Both beavers are working in Canada right now. There he is.
Yeah, I'm muted so that the extra volume bandwidth can go to him.
Simon.
That's awesome.
But you know, I mean, when you get to trust somebody and they can be someone who will go, hey, let me give you some advice. You could step that up and do that a little better. That comes with a lot of trust and everything. Iron sharpens iron and everything. Right. That's important. But there's got to be that entry point and that connection. And there's always been somebody who has been that for you, most likely. And that's the thing. You've got to start that cycle over again. You've got to be that person for somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And life is short enough for you to be unkind to someone when you haven't given them a chance to get to know them. So, anyway, but those are some things we need to consider, especially when we go to conventions, especially. And I honestly have never seen somebody just be an absolute jerk at a convention. Now, have any of you all, have you ever seen it?
I have heard other people getting negative comments. Personally, yes. But I know other people have.
Really?
Yes.
I have. It's not so much about people's mocks and just about like people's presence at a convention.
Yeah.
How many of you guys remember Adam Reed Tucker?
Who?
Adam Reed Tucker. He was the person that he created architectural models and he brought them to Chicago. He was a Chicago local. This is like Brick World 2010, like years ago. And he built these, he basically had modified Lego to be able to do architectural structures. And he was there when the Lego company was there, and that inspired them to create, with his help, to create the architecture line originally. JD Gunning, JD Red Brick, some of you guys know her. She's an amazing builder. She walked up to him, and her boyfriend, Chris Magno, was with her at the time. And she walked up to him to go talk to him. And she was saying how awesome his models were. And he looked at her directly in the face and basically said, you know, hopefully one day you can be as good a builder as I am.
Ooh.
And it was like, what?
Ouch.
And I don't know why I even mentioned Chris's name, because I was thinking he was actually part of that story, but he wasn't really. Anyway. So yeah, I have seen people that have been totally rude in the community. Now this is 10 years ago, and I don't know, 13 years ago. I don't know if he's still even around in the community.
I don't know. He might have wound up behind in a dumpster.
Swimming with them.
He's in the chat. Look, no.
Yeah.
So, but this, I mean, I want to raise one thing, which I think is potentially an issue in our community, which is there are people on the spectrum who don't understand the way their comments hit. And I have no idea about this particular person. I have met a couple of people who had no filter, and I was pretty sure that the lack of filter wasn't lack of character, but it was something else. And for those folks, I'm willing to I've worked with enough students that I've gotten better at sort of picking up on when that is the situation. But I can easily see how somebody might not understand that there's a person that perhaps is on the spectrum that doesn't understand. They think they're just being truthful, and they're like, well, you could do this a lot better. And they mean it as a helpful comment, even though it maybe doesn't come across that way. So
Yeah,
I'll just
and
toss
it
that
could have
out.
been that scenario, but it was just one of those like, dude, do you even know who you're talking to? Obviously, he did not. But yeah, anyway.
So all right, let's flip the script though. Do we need to have thicker skin when it comes to our Lego hobby? Is that something we should encourage? I mean, we can't say you just need to suck it up, Buttercup, but us personally, do we need to have thicker skin about certain things like that?
I think it's a two-way street. It's a give and take.
Yeah.
I think you have to be good at giving constructive criticism to someone. So that's on you as a current AFOL. But
But also like making sure that people are open to receiving constructive criticism, right?
Correct.
Like,
and
do I want your criticism? Do I,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's also comes down to, and that's a very good point. Don't always give criticism unless it's asked for.
Yeah.
I think it's
or like
probably,
Chris was saying earlier, when you build that trust with people and you have that group, or like you're bringing it to someone, but don't just walk up to someone and be like, hey, you know what, your mock's great, but it could be better if you did this.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. I mean,
Oh,
definitely
I
want somebody to ask you for their opinion first versus just giving it. And that might be where Matthew's talking about. Some people on the spectrum don't have that filter.
Right.
Don't know that they're doing it. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, I do want to put in the caveat of that. And maybe this is my age and the fact that I had to go through the 80s and not everything was peaches and cream, that you had to learn to you had to learn to fail, because if you don't learn to fail, you're never going to get any better. And if somebody just coddles you, you're just going to flounder. So if somebody says, hey, I want to know what you think, that's you need to, when you ask that question of saying, hey, tell me what you think about this, be prepared to not hear what you want to hear. So
by the way, by flounder, does that sometimes mean like flop? Is that what that means?
Yes, that was a synonym. Thank you. Yeah.
Does the flounder come with chips as well? Because I love good fish and chips.
Depends on whether it's Lent or not. Okay.
It is actually.
Well, I think the difference too between if you have, as Aubrey was, I think, getting at, if you have a trust relationship, a trusted friend can say, I know you were going for this, but you may have come up just a little bit short. I mean, Dana can say that to me, and I'm still going to be friends with him.
But we've established that relationship.
Yeah. And so it's, if a stranger walked up to me at a convention and was like, these really aren't true Victorians that you made. They would be better if I would just be like, whatever. I'm, go away.
You're just like, thank you. Yes.
Okay, so cool deal. I'm sorry, I was catching up on comments. It's like, yeah, I went to war.
He did. I mean, like, back to like constructive criticism. Like, whenever you put something out there, and Aubrey and I know this, I think we all know this. If you post on social media, you're open to anything. And if someone like puts a bad comment, I've learned to accept that I'm probably never gonna meet this person in real life, and their words are just words. If I don't put any meaning to it, if I don't just like forget about it, use my Italian side, it doesn't matter. What matters is what the people that you care about in your life think about it, what they think about it. Because then that's actually important, because they know where you're coming from, they know what you're trying to do, and they're gonna help you.
Or they just continue to rub it in your face on social media for years and years to come.
No, that's okay.
We call that character development. We love that.
Because I need character development.
Character development.
There's
I do think that there's something to be said too about like what people expect you to act like, right? Like there are some people will always have a perception of you that may or may not be correct. Like how are they approaching you, or But not everyone that you're gonna meet is gonna get like the best version of you or the kindest one of you or like the person that you want in your life. So I think that's something that's kind of difficult to navigate is like, is this person a snob? Are they being rude? Or have I just crossed the boundary? Right.
Right. And let's just go ahead and say this about being at a show. The first day when everybody's setting up, I know if you're excited about meeting somebody, give them a minute. Saying if they're hunched over something that got crushed in the box on the way to the convention and you see them sweating, this may not be the time that you want to discuss your opinions on War and Peace. I'm just going to say.
You know what? This is an excellent PSA.
Yeah.
This is a
Yes, it is.
This is a long overdue PSA.
There's the right time and the right place, but the right time is usually not the first day of when unboxing is happening. That's the most stressful moment, other than when the judging results come out. But
I think there's a few
save
people
your
that like,
opinions and remarks till Saturday and Sunday when things are actually set up.
yeah.
Not
Yeah, I was gonna say. Go
I
ahead, Bobby.
actually helped Boone set up a castle that he brought to Brick Slopes one year because he was in that situation and like so much of it broke. And I mean, we had already made like an online relationship a little bit, right? So it wasn't just like this random person, but like he had drove from
but wait a minute.
Oregon. So
But
it's
that is actually a good thing to do, though.
Yeah, like walking up to someone and be like, "Hey,
Can I help?
you need help?"
Yeah.
That's a little different than being like, "I want to chat."
Yeah.
the best part is you come up and go, "Wow, that's a big mess."
Yeah. Wow, that looks terrible. Would you like help with that?
This past
Was this all together when you left the house?
Okay. So
this past convention at Atlanta BrickCon, Joey and I may or may not have hit a guardrail, but we were okay. The mocks were not, and all of his mocks were trashed. Mine as well, but I only brought like 5. He brought like 20. So he spent most of Friday just rebuilding, and there was a lot of people coming up like, "Oh my gosh, what happened? Do you need help?" And then there's a lot of people they're like, "That sucks. Enjoy," and then they'd walk off. Not too many people, but those people were there, and it's to be expected. Just maybe not say that stuff.
Sorry, I won't do that again next time. So,
Yeah.
by the way, Simon, look, here it is. Brick in your. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
What me?
Oh, there it is, right there. So, if you have a brick in your hand, not a good time to talk. If you have a big hand, it's time to chat.
I like that.
100%.
I like that. That's
There
good
we go.
advice.
There we go. We're nothing but educational here on our show tonight and everything. All right. So how else can we keep the snobbishness down, or where's some other areas of being snobbed in the realm? I think we all universally agree here that lugs are for everyone. Come join and everything like that. Yes, Coke Zero in my case. That's right. Thanks, Steve. But where are some other snob or the danger areas for snobbery to crop up in our hobby? Think about it.
I mean, do you only use real Lego bricks?
Oh, yes. Go move on.
Yeah.
Did you cut that Lego brick?
Well, there are times where it shows that people do have rules that you're not allowed to bring sets. Like we only want mocks, right? Like there are some shows that are pretty hard on that.
I'm joking.
No, I'm just saying though that there are. Oh, who'd we lose?
Yeah.
Oh, Dana.
Did we lose Dana?
No, I'm pretty much
Did Dana
curious,
bring a mock?
unless it's like a custom printed minifig or something.
I can understand that rule
But
because if the convention's focus is to just bring mocks and that's just show the creativity of Lego, then bringing a Titanic, just the Titanic, is not very cool. Because we have where I live, we have a local farm show where they do have a Lego competition. The thing is, the judges don't know a set from a mock, so people were bringing like UCS Star Wars sets from the last couple of years, and they were getting awards. And then there was these kids that were actually putting their a lot of hard work into their builds, original builds.
Oh.
Yeah, they look nothing like a set, but they weren't getting anything, even though that was their original creations. So I can understand I
I
wouldn't
think that
recommend.
happened at like a major convention last year, one of the major conventions. Like there was like oh man, I don't remember what convention it was, but someone had the T-Rex from like the big gate, the Jurassic Park gate, and it was within like another build, but that won Best Dinosaur. Like it won an award as Best Dinosaur. Oh man, I'd have to think about it, which one it was.
Was that Brick Slopes?
It wasn't at Brick Slopes.
Bricks
Okay, 'cause
Cascade.
Oh yeah, sorry, Bricks Cascade. That's what I was thinking of because they had the big.
Maybe
Jurassic
it was
Park
at Cascade.
mark there.
I was gonna say I would remember if it was at Brick Slopes. I deal with those
Yeah,
trophies.
sorry, I meant Cascade. I've got the two backwards in my head.
What surprises me about that anecdote is that usually people who are Lego judges are very familiar with the product in the stores.
Yeah, well, I think that
Wondering-
one was more public voted than it would have
Yeah.
been.
There
So
you
it just
go.
depends on if it's a public vote or not, right?
Well, that's it. I'm gonna bring the $400 castle and just put my name in front of it.
That's a great idea.
What do I need to sign up? Brick Slopes?
So, Chris, what was your question as I was losing internet connectivity?
I don't remember.
Okay, fine.
How can we be less gatekeepy? I think that was
Yeah, maybe that's a good question. How can we be less gatekeepy? I guess.
Well, so I hate to say this, but we're not the problem on this panel. But as far as like people in general, don't be an asshole. I mean, be nice to people. Be awesome to each other. Encourage people to build awesome. Don't look down on people for this, that, and the other. Everybody's got their own baggage at home. If I've got a bad day, I might be a little surly, but that doesn't mean that I don't like you. And
Did somebody leave your monorail track at home? You still got to be nice.
did somebody decide to bring things that I didn't know they were bringing? It creates a little stress sometimes, but we're all human.
That Aubrey asked the question. She used one of the sharks from the 3-in-1 in her larger mock. Trust me, the percentage of your design versus the extra, and that's just you're fine.
Well,
So
you didn't win like best shark.
Yeah. You just
for that, right? I think a lot of people use designs like that, and like sets within their mocks, and I don't really think that's.
I mean,
Let's wrap
my
up.
Custom
Nothing
Space
solved.
Mosaic one at Atlanta BrickCon, and it was basically just a recolor of all the same picture, right?
Right.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
and the
that
reality
guy.
is that I mean, if you're a Lego mocker and builder or whatever, first rule of thumb is you steal from the best. I mean, that's what you do.
Yeah,
That's how you learn.
How do you think I got on Lego Masters? You think I'm creative? You think I created stuff? No, I just looked at some of the best designs, copy paste, save that to my phone camera roll.
Exactly. That's the way it's
Done.
done, man.
All right, I'll say it.
How many episodes were you on there? Never mind. I'm not going to do that.
Exactly.
3 more than
More
everyone
than
else.
you.
3 more than everybody else. That's right, Aubrey, for sure.
But I mean, we all learn from people. We see things that somebody does, and we get inspired by somebody else's build. And so, you're gonna borrow something from somebody. I mean, I get compliments on the doors in my moon base all the time, and I say, "Yeah, I stole those from Mark Shanlin every time." And then that's my go-to answer. I stole those from Mark. They're not mine.
That's right.
But now there is a good point that not a lot of people do, is that they don't give credit to where they got their ideas from and their inspiration from, or that they claim it as their own instead of nope, I learned this from somebody else, and so I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. It's not
And
just me.
if it is a big like technique like that one person did do this, or like it's pretty obvious that you took that design or something like that from someone, I think it's fair to give someone credit.
Sorry. Light Aubrey just went dark on Dana, so
Stealing all the babies, Dana.
No, I have a finite number. I only need 111. That's it. No more, no less.
Oh my god.
Just mail them back. How many do you have now?
Let's see. I have 61 of mine.
You're worse than Brad and his
Well,
orcs.
Well,
those
actually,
are
the
only,
funny
those
thing
are
have
is,
the
a
only
deal.
ones that are yours.
but wait a minute, Dom. I just mailed Brad 25 orcs, and he is mailing me 23 spacemen.
What?
That almost sounds like a Canadian
Why am
exchange
I
rate
not
going on there.
It is
Yep.
the Syracuse, Georgia connection is what we established. So yes. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Well, because I told him, because he said, if I told him, I was like, if you had told me sooner, I would probably been able to send you 50, but I was only able to send him 25.
So Dana, sorry, how many did you have currently?
So currently I have 61.
What are their names?
We don't have time for
Yeah,
that.
okay.
All the babies. need
All the
names.
babies.
I'm going to start buying the Space Babies just because Dana's going to drive up the price in the market, and he's
Yeah.
trying to
Well,
corner.
no, there's somebody already else doing that. What,
Yeah.
Chris? What's that guy on TikTok?
There's his
Whatnot.
on whatnot. Yeah. His name just went out of my head, but yeah, he's got like 1,000. That's where he's aiming for, and he's right there. If
Right.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so.
he's the one. He's the one who's shooting the market.
I will
Okay,
do
I've been
honest-
looking for the chonky cats, and there's someone on Bricklink that has like almost 600 of them. And I'm like,
Oh my
What?
God.
how? How did
How?
you?
I did buy 4 space. I gave one away to a friend, but I bought 4 of them because I saw Dana buying a bunch, and I was like, you know what? If I ever need space babies, now is the time to get them in case I need them down later in the road.
Because Dana's gonna have all of them.
You are influential. You are a trendsetter. Mad respect, G.
What I really hope, my end goal is that somebody at Lego says, you know what? This guy's been doing these neat little builds, but the colors are wrong, so we need to make more space babies in the other colors. And then I will feel like I have done my duty to the Lego community.
I
You
do want to
said
point
duty.
out that I made a baby spaceship before Dana did.
You
so.
did.
Oh,
She did. Actually, so right there, I was inspired by Aubrey. So
Come on,
Aubrey,
Dana,
I
stop
think-
stealing all her ideas.
Yeah, geez,
Yeah,
come on.
Dana.
don't
I
you
don't know
know that I basically just take everybody else's ideas and do my own thing with them? I mean,
Kaz Maka did this monochromatic.
yeah, that's true.
exactly. I mean,
Space
Matthew's building a
babies.
10-foot by 6-foot mosaic. So what is Dana doing? He's building a 10-foot by 6-foot mosaic. Yeah,
Oh,
of course.
build
I'm
a-
always stealing everybody's ideas.
Imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery, I think.
Exactly.
Oh, if Space Babies are on the list, oh my gosh, I shudder to
Only 2
think.
parts.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
that's actually better than the 5 pieces that we had to do to get Red Spaceman. So, just
Or Castle-y part people, those poor people. I feel this sorry for them.
Yeah, and I still note that no space torsos have shown up on Bricks and Pieces either. So
which makes me feel even better that we did what we did.
yeah, I get it. Let me circle back to something because Mark will remember this. There was a mech builder back in the day that, and he was innovative, and he would come up with some really cool techniques. But then he would go, and if somebody used one of his techniques, he would carpet bomb them with comments and complaints about you didn't credit me. Like he was one of the first ones that used Lego minifig legs as fingers because we didn't have the pieces to do it. He did it first. It was a great little technique. And then when people will do it, hey, you didn't give me credit. Hey, you didn't give me credit. And that guy was a tool. Okay, I mean it was awful. Do you remember what I'm talking about? I know his name. I'm not gonna throw it out there. So it begins with an M and it ends with Layden. But anyway, so
I
But-
think when it comes to that, when it comes to like, sometimes it's not that easy to be like, this is so and so's build technique. It's hard to remember that stuff, and
Right.
I feel like unless you patent that this is your technique, you haven't seen it anywhere else, and you came up with it, give it your own personal name, like the Fazoom technique or like the Aubrey technique, then it's kind of hard to like credit that, is it not?
Well, and like remember where you saw it, and
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So-
I guess there's a difference between. This is gonna be just deep and weird and stuff like that. I mean, there's a point where you can say, "Hey, somebody influenced me," or "I borrowed a technique from somebody," but at the same time, though, just because you borrowed a technique from somebody doesn't mean that your idea isn't original on its own.
Right.
Because I mean, if you look at the master painters, they were always stealing techniques from each other, but they made it their own, even though it was an influence from somebody. That doesn't mean it's any less creative. They just borrowed a little idea and then they ran with it. So you don't always
That's in all
necessarily
types of
have to give
artistry, for
full
sure.
credit. You just can say, if somebody says, well, how did you do this? Oh, I got the idea from yada yada, but essentially it's still my build, not theirs.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a gray area for sure.
You got to play. You got to be nice about it. I think is the way to talk about it. Is that don't be like, oh yeah, I completely came up with this on my own. Give credit where credit's due, but at the same time, still take pride in the fact that you came up with the idea, something with it.
Let me call out Lou here. By the way, this guy is always an innovator, always a great builder, and for him to say that is either Canadian sorry or is I don't know, but is amazing because so we should be a whole lot more humble about ourselves.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, Friendship Timber came from Shiptember, so
yeah, that's true. There's nothing new under the sun, right? All right.
I was
So,
gonna say
any
that-
final thoughts on how can you personally be less snobby today? So, this is now time for personal introspection.
I could be less snobby if I stopped criticizing virtual builds that use parts and colors that don't exist in the real world, but I'm not going to stop.
Matt's keeping that snobbery.
I'm wearing that snobbery on a badge.
I mean, we didn't even talk about virtual builds, but there's that snobbery does exist out there too. It's like, oh, that's virtual. You
Yeah,
can't
you're
build a
not a
rover
real
like
builder.
that. It won't stand up. Oh, sorry. Wait, hold on.
Ouch! From the Canadian, even.
There it is, right
He
there.
wasn't
Let's
Sleep at the
No, but there are a lot of people that'll look at a mock and say, "Oh, that's really cool." Then it's like, "Oh, wait, that's digital." Next, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel called out, but
Yeah, feel seen. Snob Mob. That is our other show. We're going to start on.
that's where we
TikTok.
wear our dark
Yeah.
personas, the snob knob. We're like, well,
Actually, according to
Hey,
well, we already do the actually, but
Actually,
All right, so here's I just thought, yeah, that's right. Push the. I'm so excited though when Light Aubrey, whatever, Aubrey of Light was on here, whatever it is, that she did the push up the nose as to us, not even knowing it was a thing on the show, which was fantastic, right? Let's talk about real quick and something I meant to bring up. What about lugs who are very closed, like it's a purposeful lug? You've got to meet certain criteria to be in their club or whatever. Are you okay with that? I mean, is that snobbery? You don't because I've seen as a friend who's trying to get in a certain costuming club and he keeps getting booted out because he didn't have a stitch in the thing and all that kind of stuff. Is that okay? Are you guys okay with that? Or do you like, I don't know, bro lug and all those other lugs that are very closed in?
I think there is a place for that though. And
Yeah.
because in some ways I would rather know what I don't want to get into if that's what they're like, and if that's the kind of people they want to surround themselves with, then they can play with themselves and I'll go hang out with somebody else.
Did you really just say that on that?
Yeah. And I was even thinking,
is
how
that
do I
a
say
strike
this?
3 for Dana?
Yeah. But anyway, the point being is that, yes, I mean, as long as you know that that's what's expected to be in that and you want to be a part of that group and there are criteria, sure, fine, whatever. But at the same time, I'm glad that there are other groups that are not that way so that people have options.
Yeah.
So,
I think there is like maybe potentially a level of snobbery to it, but I think about like, my kids are into like dance and sports and other things like that. And, there are leagues and classes that will take anyone at any level. And then, as you go on there, you have to meet certain criteria for more. Oh man. Francine, national treasure.
That was at our lug meeting. It was the funniest.
Groovy
That's
granny.
amazing.
Groovy granny.
But yeah, I don't know. I think there's, like Dana said, there's a place for all of it. You know, there's a place for lugs that want to have, like want to meet a certain level, and you know, and then
I
there's
think they're
lugs that are open
toxic.
to everyone.
But there's a place for them.
Yeah, there you go.
We
Yeah,
should
it's all-
start. We should start a single purpose lug that's called 500,000, and you have to have 500,000 parts just to join the lug.
But then I'd have to count.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how do I know that?
Can we figure that out by square
You know
footage?
what? Dom is going to blow the doors off that because, you know,
Yeah.
What do you mean? I
Part lug.
haven't gotten them yet,
oh, well,
so I can't. Not
Will?
yet.
That's so
Yes.
long.
Yeah.
How long
But-
ago did you guys put in that order? It's been a while, right?
Well, we didn't get the list till November, and then we didn't have time to fill it out till I don't think we submitted our lists till like early February.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
dude, you're in the lug bulk log at that point in time. You're probably
Yeah.
on hold until they finish.
I think they were saying probably not till like the end of the year. So
Oh wow.
Wow.
I,
they had to-
I'm at a point where like I ain't got room for that right now. So
Right.
they can take as much time as they want. Ethan, on the other hand, he's getting a little peeved, which is understandable because he builds a lot more marks than I do.
Because
So
he
it'll
needs a
come
buttload of something.
pre-sorted for you, right?
I don't think they're gonna be pre-sorted.
Dep-
Someone's handing me
maybe.
all this.
one really big
It's
bag.
okay, try. It's
They
okay.
just dump it all in one bag.
Honestly, I'm expecting a shipping crate, and I'm hoping it's big enough that I can sit in it.
And,
And I
and
would be like,
it's
this is
fragile across the side.
Exactly, like this is gonna be like my Lego hot tub.
He can
Have you
sit
ever,
in it.
have you
Squeeze
ever
it.
done
Okay.
lug bulk before, Dom? Have you ever
I'm
been
not
a
in
part
a
of it or
lug.
sorted it?
I'm not part of a lug. I'm not in a lug. There's no
Oh,
good
okay.
lugs around me.
I
What?
bet it'll be pretty similar.
Where do you live?
Pennsylvania.
Ooh,
Oh,
yeah,
there's
it's a
no
real
lugs in
dry
Pennsylvania.
area up there.
Well, you got a lot of old train. You're probably in, and that's kind of why it's good that you're here. You're probably in some old school snobbery with trains,
Yeah.
Absolutely, no, yeah.
and so the lugs are very train centric and probably very snobby about that. So
I'd love to start my own. I feel like I could do it. It's just a matter of
I don't
just,
know.
like-
I don't know if you've got the clout to start your own.
Dom log.
Really? No.
No, I'm being sarcastic. You should totally start your own lug.
Yeah.
I
It
don't
is
know.
a
I
lot
don't
of
know
work,
what-
though.
That's the thing. Like, it's a lot of work, and I ain't got time. I might not have time for that, so I don't want to
Well-
like commit to something that I don't have time for.
Then you should talk to Mel and kind of create like some sort of collab with somebody who does have time so that you
Yeah.
can work together.
Well, didn't Mel become recognized fan media?
I think he wound up having to because I think it wound up making his life easier.
Yeah. Well, with
'Cause
your
his-
fan media, you actually can qualify as like because you're a community.
Yeah, I'm still working on that.
Your fan
We're getting
media, your fan media is a community. So fan medias can technically offer lug bulk to their community, but it's just such a pain to do that.
Yeah. How do you
But
disperse that out between
A lot of
3,000
people don't. So
Or because Ethan's got more followers, why not have him start the lug and then you can be a part of his lug?
yeah, make Ethan do it. There you go.
Yeah, let's
He
just make
definitely
you
has
do
the
it.
time.
He built most of the stuff on Lego Masters. You can do this too.
see, now we've been a snob to Dom. Look at there.
I'm used to it. I don't know why, but everywhere I go, I get memed on so hard.
It's because you're at
Everyone.
the top of your game, man. If you're the big easy target, man. That's what happens. That's what happens.
Hey Dom,
Someone's got to
Dom,
be it. Might as well
I
be
just
me.
want you to know we love you.
Thank you so much. Wow.
I'm a little sad you didn't wear that sweatshirt.
I can go put it on if you want.
No, it's great.
He says
I
that to all
got it.
ladies.
I keep it way back in the closet.
Well, you need a matching scrunchie to go with it because your hair's so long.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, get a haircut, you hippie. Anyway.
No.
Yep. You keep right where it's at, buddy. Keep right where it's at. It's all good.
Thank you, Dana.
Oh me. Hey guys, it's 20 after, so let's land the plane. It is so great for you guys to be here. This has been a great discussion and something we will probably always deal with and always have to deal with. And we can always realize that we are not free from the issue in our own life. We need to be careful of how we treat others. And as we say on the show, be awesome and build awesome.